Welcome to SVG-TV News for Wednesday, February 22nd, 2017. I am Rochelle Batiste with the details. This country continues to receive support from Japan as 3 pilot projects were launched today, which seeks to transform low-emission and climate-resilient technologies to local personnel. The projects total some $300,000 are funded by the Japanese government and the UNDP and will focus on the construction of water harvesting and irrigation systems, converting waste into energy and building capacities of sustainable agriculture, as well as several other technical support. Speaking on the execution of the projects, technical specialist at the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation on Agriculture, Michael Dalton, stated that the main aim of the projects is focused on addressing climate change-related issues.
Has 4 broad goals. One of these speaks directly to the issue of climate change and natural resource management. It is this goal which gives us the mandate for actions within our 34 member countries that address climate change responses. In St. Vincent and the Grenadines, we have found ourselves particularly busy since 2010, providing support to public and private sector organizations to address climate change-related issues. These responses have come broadly in the following areas. We have provided capacity building support to our partners in the public sector, addressing topics such as training in climate-proofing methodologies aimed at integrating climate change into development planning, training for adaptation responses for small farming systems for technical staff, and not only here, but in other member countries of ICA, such as Mexico, Panama, and Guyana, all with the intention of exposing local technicians to diverse experiences which they could bring to bear on the local situation.
Meantime, resident representative for the UNDP sub-regional office, Stephen O'Malley, said the UNDP is pleased to have been supporting the region's climate change efforts over the last decade.
UNDP has been very pleased to support the region's climate change efforts over the last decade, particularly on modeling climate impacts, developing the concept of loss and damage, and in the area of capacity development. We're particularly excited to be able to support these 3 local initiatives with a value of $300,000 and look forward to seeing the impact of the projects in the coming months. The JCCP focuses on a number of key groups such as women and youth, and the 3 projects launched here today really target those groups. We are very pleased to note the inclusion of the Women in Agriculture Langley Park Cooperative, the Rebecca Farms Cooperative, and the St. Vincent and Grenadines Network of Rural Women Producers, which all have women functioning in various capacities.
Acknowledging the importance of agriculture, Minister of Economic Planning, Oz Gonzalez, noted that the projects are timely as the agriculture and tourism sectors can be heavily impacted by climate change.
Agriculture is one of our major productive sectors, and it is deeply affected by climate change. And we just opened a beautiful airport at Argyle, and we're betting big on tourism. But I tell you, tourists aren't going to come to countries if they can't be assured of good weather. And they're not going to go snorkeling if all the reefs are dead. And they're not going to lie on the beach if there are no beaches. And climate change is the dark cloud, is the elephant in the room when we talk about how we plan to make money and develop based on either tourism or agriculture. Everybody can talk plans. But until we deal with climate change, it's fanciful talk.
Minister of Agriculture, Sabota Caesar, also spoke on the effects of climate change here and emphasized the importance of the projects.
We have come to the stage where we are grappling with the vagaries of climate change, where the government has to today, in the dry periods, and it's going to start very soon. Some persons are already seeing the effects of the dryness, where the government has to use its vehicles to take water to animals and to take grass. We have to reassign the staff and to get the assistance from persons who hitherto were working in the soil conservation, to dig trenches. They now have to be a part of the vet division, to lend their labor, to go and assist in the cutting of grass so that we can reduce the death of these animals. Many persons do not even realize that last year there were animals in St. Vincent and the Grenadines that died because of the absence of water.
6 additional projects are in the pipeline for SVG, with many more spread across the region, including Belize, the Commonwealth of Dominica, the Republic of Guyana, Jamaica, St. Lucia, and the Republic of Suriname. Program Officer of the International Telecommunications Union, Sylvester Cadet, is emphasizing the need for persons to be more attentive to their security networks. Cadet, who was one of the panelists at the National Telecommunications Regulatory Commission NTRC consultation held recently, highlighted that there is a need for firms and governments across the region to pay greater attention to their security systems. The International Telecommunications Union Program Officer also announced that this year his organization will be beefing up efforts to ensure that governments across the region have good security networks.
For small island developing states like we have in the Caribbean, one major hit could bring an economy to its knees. Especially when you consider, for example, what happened in Bangladesh not too long ago, just about 4 to 6 months ago, yes, where a huge chunk of assets was moved from the central bank in Bangladesh to the Philippines. Now, can you imagine this happening in St. Vincent and the Grenadines? Or in any of the other Caribbean islands for that matter, it would have ripple repercussions throughout the Caribbean in terms of issues related to the confidence levels in terms of doing business, but also in terms of on micro level, the viability of these firms, because ultimately one hit could compromise a firm, compromise its activities.
Additionally, NTRC consultant Franklin Richardson also pressed the need for persons to continually change their passwords. He said this is one of the simple but effective measures of ensuring that hackers are unable to penetrate networks and gadgets.
Now, what folks of these plans are supposed to do when they purchase them is to change the password. And most people are not changing the passwords. They just install the cameras, and go with that. And the passwords are usually quite simple: 1234, 012345, that type of thing. So, and hackers exploit this. So that's something that I think whichever body is established to look at the national broadband plan and the security aspect, this is something you have to drill down and speak about, the whole idea of changing passwords. It's the same with your computer software. You always check for updates. This is critical in providing you with the security that you need.
Engineer at the Physical Planning Department, Desmond Pompey, is citing poor construction as one of the challenges when faced with natural disasters. Pompey, who was speaking on radio recently on the issue of disaster and infrastructural damage, said the structures that are damaged when disasters strike are unable to withstand the pressure because they are inadequately built. The engineer also noted that developers need to inform the physical planning unit at least a week before they undergo certain projects so that they can properly be inspected.
You come today and you say, oh, we cast in concrete. So when physical planning is not able to respond to that, then the thing is that physical planning has not acted. When we are asking you for 7 days notification, have a responsibility to inform the planning department when they are doing certain construction so that we can come out and make the necessary inspections. And it is a partnership. So here today, you know, I would like to encourage that partnership, that people practicing in the built industry, when you're going to cast your foundation, when you're going to do your retaining wall work, you must inform the physical planner. As a matter of fact, the physical planning under the laws, we ask for 7 days in advance.
Pompey also pointed out that proper drainage is another essential element to strong structures holding up against natural disasters, as land slippage and structural damage could be imminent.
So now, the fella uphill, he built his house and he outflow his water into the area allocated for drain, but there's no physical drain. And the fella downhill now start to suffer the consequences of those actions. So there now we have problems, and we are working with the surveyors department and all concerned, the designers and people who looking at ways that we could insist that developers put in place the infrastructure that is needed to mitigate. Because when you have an event, then you see the destruction that not having these infrastructure in place, the destruction that it caused to housing.
And capital city Kingstown is expected to receive a much-needed cleanup this year. That's according to Government Senator Julian Francis. On the radio last evening, the Minister of Transport and Works highlighted some of the projects that the ministry will undertake this year. Francis stated that a comprehensive road repair program and a significant cleanup of Kingstown will be undertaken, and noted that vendors would be permanently moved from the streets to a different location, which is currently being built to facilitate the cleanup program.
Another great project that we are going to move on to, and I am giving warning that when we're ready to clean, in fact, a lot of people don't know that where the old vegetable market is, we have built, I believe, 80-something stalls there. And we are in the process now. We've just gotten some Vinlec poles, some used Vinlec poles, and we will be moving very soon to put a roof on it. So we'll have the elements off your head. I am issuing warning that persons will be moved permanently off the street into those 85 areas. I believe it's 85 they told me that they're building. They have built. And when somebody is moved off of the street, that place will not be taken by anybody else. It is going to happen this year, and we are going to start and get some decent cleaning in Kingstown.
Minister Francis also praised the recent effort of private citizens who took the initiative to power wash the sidewalks of the capital.
Before I wrap up, I would like to commend the team headed by Fitzhuggins and the others, those who came down. I'm not going to call other names because I really can't remember all the other names that were involved. I passed by on Sunday and saw them power washing the sidewalks, some of the sidewalks in Kingstown, and I want to compliment them and congratulate them on the initiative, and that I trust that it will continue. It is always good to see people throwing in their personal energy and time, and in some cases money, to get things done. This year is a year for clean up the city.
Prime Minister Dr. Oz Gonzalez on Tuesday, February 21st, commemorated his 23rd year as a Member of Parliament for North Central Windward. At a media conference on Monday, the leader of this country, who is also the longest-serving Member of Parliament, announced that he will be celebrating the occasion at a special event to be held at on the grounds of the Connery Government School this Sunday, February 26th.
I'm planning something in the schoolyard at Connery, provided that the Ministry of Education gives me permission, because it's their property. But they've given me permission before to hold things there, and they've given other people permission, so I don't see why they will discriminate against me on this occasion to hold an event there. But more would be said about that. That's not a government event. That's my constituency and the party. I want to say thanks. I want to us have some music and people get an opportunity to sell food and drinks, and I think it's an occasion to celebrate.
An appeal has been made here for motorists wishing to use extra lighted lamps on their vehicles to apply to the Commissioner of Police for permission to do so. The call came from Police Sgt Henry Providence of the Traffic Department as he spoke with SVG-TV News on an area of concern which the department will seek to tackle in the coming days and weeks. Highlighting regulations 2111 and 2110 of the laws of SVG, Sgt Providence stated that no other lighted lamps other than the headlamps and side lights should be used on a motor vehicle except with the written permission of the Commissioner of Police. The police sergeant added that whilst the department recognizes that several vehicles are manufactured with additional lights, their use still require the written permission of the police commissioner.
Well, as I just quite outlined a while ago, the law is quite clear, and it doesn't matter whether or not the vehicle was manufactured like that, or if the individual himself or herself place those lights on the vehicle. The law is saying if you're going to use these lights, you have to seek permission and a written permission from the licensing authority, who is the Commissioner of Police. So we have had issues in the past in regards to this, the manufacturing of vehicles. That's why we want the persons out there to know what the law says in regards to this. And again, I just want to repeat that the law is not saying that you cannot use them. It's once you're going to use them, you must have a written permission from the licensing authority, who in this case is the Commissioner of Police.
Speaking on the issue of colored rays emitted by headlamps, Sgt Providence says the law on this issue stipulates that the rays must be uncolored.
The law also states quite clearly, and this is another area where we have been having some difficulties. Regulation 2112A of the laws of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, again, traffic regulation, states quite clearly again that every vehicle, whilst on the road, should have two headlamps to the front, one on each side. And once the vehicle is in motion, these lamps must be lighted. The law 2112A is also stating that these lights, the rays coming from these lights, should be uncolored. We are seeing instances presently where there are white lights, there are yellow lights, there are blue lights. Persons are using these color codes on their vehicles in regards to lighting. The law is saying that your rays coming from these headlamps must be uncolored.
The veteran traffic cop further noted that the law also mandates that one seek written permission from the police commissioner to use headlamps with colored rays.
Well, this thing in regards to light presently is straight across the board. So every individual, every motorist here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines has to be in compliance to the Act. We recognize, yes, vehicles are coming into the country with some of these lights from the manufacturer. But persons must also realize that they have a duty to ensure that when they are importing vehicles into St. Vincent and the Grenadines, that they are in keeping with the laws of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So we wanted persons out there to know that. Some persons of the opinion that because the vehicle was manufactured like that, that it is okay for them to use the light. We are saying again, if you're going to use those lights, seek written permission from the Commissioner of Police.
Sgt Providence said members of the traffic department will be ensuring that persons comply with the laws of SVG and encourage motorists to cooperate with the police.
We are appealing to the general public on the whole to cooperate with us, and we are giving persons 24 hours to have themselves rectified, to have yourself in order, because the police is going to come from this week onwards to ensure that persons are adhering to the law in regards to lights on their motor vehicles. We are going to be very forceful, all within the framework of the law, to ensure that persons are in compliance with the laws of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We indicated earlier that we have to have the small things right. First, this is another issue that we intend to rectify early for 2017. So persons, motorists, if you know you are infringing on the law in regards to other light lamps in your vehicle, have yourself rectified within 24 hours.
The post-mortem examination carried out on the body of Randy Lawrence, a 39-year-old employee of Bank of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, concluded his cause of death was due to severe loss of blood and multiple gunshot injuries. Junior Jarvis, a 44-year-old marketer and former news reporter, is assisting the police with the investigations, which was recorded here as the first homicide of the year. Lawrence, who is from Connery, received several gunshot wounds about his body on Tuesday, February 14, 2017, at Annersville at about 7 a.m. He was rushed to the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital, where he died. The government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines has expressed a disappointment in the disqualification of Vincentian performer Lornet Fire Empress Ned Reed from participating in the finals of the Trinidad and Tobago National Calypso Monarch competition. A media release from the Agency of Public Information stated that the government is dismayed at this disqualification and there are several grounds on which the disqualification may be challenged. The release pointed out that Ned, as a member of the Calypso organization, has already been allowed to participate through the preliminaries to the semi-finals of the 2017 competition, as well as previous competitions in the neighboring Twin Island Republic. The statement also highlighted that Ned is also married to a Trinidadian national and that thirdly, she is protected under Article 7 of the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas, which provides that she not be discriminated against on the grounds of nationality. The release went on to state that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Trade and Commerce is in communication with Ned as to keep the matter under review for further action. In other news, all seems to be on board to ensure the success of the United Leeward Carnival launch as major business entities have pledged their support to the venture. During the media launch on Tuesday, Coordinator of Rural Carnivals, Ellsworth Ezzy Roberts, explained that South, Central and North Leeward have united to host a grand carnival launch. He indicated the Bureau's satisfaction with the first of its kind rural carnival initiative, and representative of the company, which is also a long-standing sponsor of Vincy Mars, Kelvin Franklin, said they will give all the support to ensure the success of Leeward Carnivals.
There, it's our communities, and of course, we are going to sponsor all of the rural carnivals in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Our Leeward, the committees are no strangers to us. They're not strangers. I've worked along with all of the committees, right? And this initiative, of course, has made things very, very easy for us. And I'm quite certain Nicola will share that same view. From a branding standpoint and everything of that sort, of course, and again from a budget standpoint. So this initiative, we embrace it very much.
Representative of Telecommunications, Giant Flow, another major sponsor, Nicola Williams, says they are prepared to continue to give support for the development of Vincy Mars.
I'm really excited that my Leeward folks, we're taking the charge, we're taking the lead, and we are doing this. It's a huge example. I'm looking forward to this being exciting. You know, Flow, previously Lime, previously Cable and Wireless, has been partners of Vincy Mars, CDC, and the rural carnivals for many years. I've been working with Ezzy, I've been working with North Leeward. You know, we're looking forward to going into these communities once again. Flo will be there as big sponsors, making sure that all these initiatives, and I'm so proud of the layout because no one is overlapping. It makes it so difficult when we have so many different events competing against each other, and it's just a beautiful thing thing to see. It's going to be a ram-packed. It's going to be awesome for the visitors coming in, and we are excited. We are going to be in these communities offering special promotions, special deals.
The All-Leeward Carnival launch is set to take place on Friday, March 3rd at the Curtains playing field.